has become some sort of rite of passage. I mean, in our secondary schools, bullying was the norm. We didn't even know whether it was normal behavior or abnormal behavior. We came to secondary school, met it that way, even participated in it, whether passively or actively, and we left the system like that. Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Mental Health Conversations with Nerat-Dagwi. From the topic of the episode, pick on someone your own size. That sounds like an active bystander trying to help in a bullying situation. Now, you see, the reality of bullying, like I said in the introduction, is we have embraced a bullying culture to the point that we don't even recognize that behavior as bullying. Now, what is bullying in the first place? Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines bullying: abuse and mistreatment of someone vulnerable or someone stronger and more powerful. The actions or the behaviors of a bully. Who is a bully? Someone who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weak, smaller, or in some way vulnerable, or in a more vulnerable position than they are. Now, was I bullied as a kid? I'd like to think not, because my secondary school experience was pure bliss. I absolutely love school. So some parts of me only remember the fun parts of school. I like to remember only the fun parts of school. I wasn't directly bullied, seniors collecting your lunch or asking you to do things that you didn't want to do. I mean, this is different from the normal secondary school seniority of go and fetch water for me, normal sending on errands and all of that. I don't think I was bullied. And you see, bullying from the definition, it is youth violence and it is terrible. Like I said earlier, it is some sort of rite of passage. We have just come to accept that behavior. And we can see from the definition I gave in the dictionary that there is some sort of power imbalance, whether it is perceived or it is an actual power imbalance of, say, wealth or physical strength or size or even social status, and it can be repeated over a long period of time. And the terrible thing about bullying is that it affects everyone. That is why it is important. It affects everyone. It affects the bully, the bullied, and even the bystanders. And regardless of age, you will always be in an environment or a situation where we are prone to be bullied. For example, in schools or even at work. And of course, online. There's trolls out there. There are just mean spirited people out there. Cyberbullying. A lot of people have been victims to this. And you see, because of the prolonged nature of bullying, it makes it different from, let's just say, it's a one-time bad behavior or isolated incidents like getting into an argument with somebody or getting into a fight. And bullying behaviors are in different categories. So there's like 4 different categories of bullying behavior that affects everyone, old or young. And this includes physical intimidation or harm. We can see children that are bullying other children by making them trip or hitting them or pushing them, and in some very extreme cases, even spitting on them. See, when you see mean children, it's really terrible and heartbreaking what they are capable of doing. And another category is social exclusion. So you're making fun of a person, you're teasing them, you're isolating them. And this is evident in workplace. You can see that, of course, everywhere you go, there's associations, there's cliques, and all of that. And it's very pronounced even in workplaces. Then there is also threats and destruction of property, even coercing the victim to do what they don't want to do. And another one that I can categorize under cyberbullying or online bullying is spreading rumors or lies about the victim. And people are so crazy that they will not just bully you and drag you like small generator online or under your post or in comments. Some people go as far as doing prank calls, sending really violent SMSs and even sliding into your DMs to insult you and make you feel terrible. That's how bad it is. Now, I said that bullying affects everyone, and that is why it is important. It affects, I know it is surprising, but bullying affects the bully, it affects the bullied, and it affects the bystanders. How does bullying affect the bully? Now, people that are bullies just project. It is mostly as a result of their own insecurity, and they have their own problems with school and other things that they are struggling with, and so bullying other people and taking it out on other people is a form of coping mechanism, and they are at a higher risk of antisocial behavior and violent behaviors, getting into fights, having problems with people up and down. And in adulthood, you'll see that because of how violent they are more likely to abuse their partners and spouses and children, and even engage in criminal behaviors. Now, the bullied, as the victims, suffer the most serious effects because your self esteem is on the line, your mental health, of course, is on the line. And then also, bullied children are more likely to experience depression, anxiety, and like I said, self esteem. And all of these things happening to one person will definitely affect their academic output. So, for example, bullying in schools now, the effect is that there's there's anxiety, there's depression, and self-esteem issues. It has an adverse negative impact on academic performance because the child is always looking over their back. The child or individual is always looking over their back, trying to protect themselves, trying to just avoid trouble. I just want to be on my own, and that's another issue: isolation. They hardly get involved in any social activities because they don't even want to get into any altercation with anybody. I don't want to mistakenly do this. I don't want to mistakenly fall into this trap. So they ultimately have a difficulty forming connections. And we see this evident in among workers or in the workplace. It manifests in stress and anxiety. So there's that people are picking on you, making sly comments behind your back. The workplace becomes very toxic. In fact, too toxic for you to be productive. So there's high levels of stress and anxiety, and this makes you an irritable person at work. And that could even add to what they're making fun of that individual about. And then there's, of course, decreased job satisfaction because who is going to enjoy working in a toxic environment? Tell me, funny enough, I've always said this: there is no health without mental health, and your mental health and your physical health are intertwined. So, because of being bullied at work, one of the results is that you begin to have physical health issues, migraines that are coming out of the blues, indigestion issues, you just can't sit still, your body doesn't feel like your body anymore. And then moving on, the effect of online bullying, of course, is emotional distress. Imagine making a simple post that you didn't even think was going to draw much attention, you're just on your own, scrolling through, maybe you made a comment, and then the comeback and the lashing that you'll receive is just out of this world. Sometimes you will see the way a post blows up and you're wondering, what? So there's that emotional distress. Your phone is vibrating, notifications upon notifications, people are tagging you up and down. And I think that a good number of celebrities have been victims to cyberbullying and online bullying. I mean, there are trolls out there. There's also isolation because you can't really tell where reality starts and where online presence begins. So that line is blurred, and there's an isolation. You begin to think that your real life is your social media life. So it's the same thing. So you just begin to isolate. You can't take them apart from each other. And then there's now the self image and poor. It breaks down your resilience. Like people that get dragged on social media and have time to sit down and give the correct bass boost and match up the energy of the trolls, it's really draining. You begin to think twice of yourself. You are not so sure about making some kind of decisions. It generally has a draining effect. And of course, all of these things have affected your mental health. And like I was saying, it is important because it affects everyone. Now, the bystanders. So, bystanders, right, are divided in two. There are the passive bystanders and the active bystanders. Let's begin with the passive bystanders. They see bullying happening and don't do anything about it. They just let it slide. I'll give an instance. For example, my secondary school, they always used to call out names of bullies on the assembly ground to flog them or give them a punishment. Now, if you were a senior and you were in a situation where a child was being bullied and you were a passive bystander, your heart will be beating by the time they are calling names, because what if that child wrote your name? You were standing there, you were looking, you didn't do anything to stop it. So being a passive bystander can increase your anxiety levels because you were there. So when they are now coming to look for the perpetrators of this bullying behavior, there's increased anxiety. You don't want to get into trouble, but at the same time, you don't want it to happen. So that is what you have brought upon yourself by being a passive bystander. On the other hand, there's the active bystander, someone who actually speaks against it or does something about a bullying. And what this does for an active bystander, it increases their self-esteem, because if they're able to successfully speak against a bullying situation or call a bully out, bring them to order, they'll become more confident in themselves, and it will even encourage them to intervene in more bullying situations. So you see, bullying affects everybody, both the bullied, the bully, and the bystanders, regardless of your age, regardless of your environment, whether you're in school, in the work environment, online. It's like now everybody is age mates as long as we're online, because some people have absolutely no regard or respect for anything. Don't be a bully. I remember when I was little and we watched Ants Bully. It was really terrible. I mean, you'll see people that you are expecting to just be humane met out terrible things on other people simply because they're bigger in size or they are more economically empowered, or have a certain social status that they can't climb up the ladder to, and so you rubbish them anyhow. My friends, don't be a bully. It doesn't pay, because it also affects you. It just shows if you are a bully, turn from your bullying ways, because there's no advantage. There's no advantage. Bullying hurts everybody around you. So my mental health tip on this episode is be kind. It doesn't cost anything at all. I mean, people don't go about with their problems written on their foreheads. You don't know what people are going through. The least you can do is to be kind. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. You can connect with me at Nerat-Dagwi on all social media. And you can feel free to follow the podcast page at mentalhealth.conversations on Instagram. Until next time, bye.